Have you ever played through this section of FNAF's sister location and thought to yourself, hey, I wanna play an entire game with the angsty teen as the protagonist? Well, wish no more, for I bring to you Black Mirror 2. Hi, I'm Liv, and today I'm gonna be spoon-feeding you the entire Black Mirror 2 story. If you haven't seen my video about the first game, I strongly recommend you go watch it first, since, you know, this is the sequel. There's the 2 right there. You're not gonna understand a whole lot if you have no idea what Black Mirror 1 is about. But, okay, do whatever you want, I'm not your mother. Content warning, this is a point-and-click horror game, so of course it's a little violent. This game does reference the happenings of the first one, so the same violence / selecting quit in the Manual of Life warnings apply. From here on, there will be spoilers for Black Mirror 1 and 2, you have been warned. Well, quick recap of the previous game. Samuel, while investigating the mysterious death of his grandfather, discovers a curse that's been plaguing his family for centuries. Mordred, his evil ancestor, cursed his brother Marcus's line, saying that one day a garden would convert 5 souls of 5 mortals and open the portal, and then he would return. Later on, Samuel realizes that he's been possessed by the curse and that he's the one who's been killing the people in Willow Creek. He performs the ritual with, and from this point on, it's just an educated guess on my part, the intent to bait Mordred into his body and then banish the evil once and for all. Well, now that we're all caught up, let's jump into Black Mirror 2.
Samuel? Are you there? Please, say something. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. You promised you wouldn't just disappear anymore. I've been looking all over for you. Ow! What's wrong with you? I don't know who you are. I don't know my own husband. You disappear every night. You only talk when it's absolutely necessary. Where is the man that I married, Samuel? I want my husband back!
What have I done? What What have I done? Oh no! I didn't want this! No! No! Oh! No!
Before anything else, you might have noticed the change in graphics. I don't like saying that they're higher quality because the old one has that old charm to it, but it's higher resolution. The game was released in 2009, so the 3:4 ratio of the old one making the game harder to run nowadays problem is gone. As for the story, well, I'm sure we'll find out more about that later. So everyone meets Darren, he's our protagonist this time around, and he loves to talk. Like, he loves to talk. I love him, but like, Jesus Christ. He's a student who's working at this photo place in the little town where his mom lives for the summer to help pay for his tuition. He apparently falls in love at first sight with this girl, Angelina, who wants to get some portraits done. But the owner of the place, Fuller, sends us on some errands and takes up the role of Angelina's photographer. Oh well. We have to get a package from the post office / tourist shop / whatever else this place doubles as, and deliver a letter to Mrs. Baiba at the diner.
No, I'm studying physics.
Okay, so he's insane? The postal officer, shop owner, Rosie here, is chatting with her client / bestie, so we have to find a way to distract the blonde woman. We also hear about this scary girl who was perfect and happy in every way until she wasn't, and then decided to peace out of life. Darren also mentions that he saw a picture of her at Fuller's shop. Listen, so sorry to hear about that, but I'm just a grunge physics student photographer young man. What do I have to do with that? Anyways, moving on with our tasks. Mrs. Baiba doesn't look too happy about Fuller's letter. Oh well, gotta run, Baiba. See ya when I see ya. Before we leave the diner though, this doctor tells us that our mom was supposed to show up to whatever, but she didn't, and it's unusual for her to not even give a call to cancel, so we'll check up on her later. Back at Rosie's, we make the blonde's car alarm go off.
Oh, my convertible!
Hell yeah, it's my turn to gossip with Rosie. And get Fuller's package, I guess.
You know the Baibas?
From the diner? Sure I do.
What can you tell me about them?
I don't gossip, but her marriage ain't exactly the best.
Hey Rosie, did you know Carrie, Jason's first wife?
Of course I knew her. I know everyone in Biddeford. No comparison with Juliet. At least with her, you can have a decent conversation. Jason's so lucky he got her now.
Well, she's friends with Jason's second wife, so no surprises there. She also tells us that there's another package for Fuller there, but we can't get it without a collection note. So we steal a blank one and we'll see what we can do about that later. Back at the photo shop, Angelina says that Fuller tried to grope her. I mean, are we surprised? And asks us to develop the pictures and take them to her at the hotel later. As she's leaving, there's a guy following her. Who is he? Oh well, no time to make sure of Angelina's safety. We got bigger fish to fry. Like calling our mom.
Seems like she's on the phone.
What the hell are you doing using my phone? While you're on the clock? I'm gonna take it out of your...
Yeah, whatever. Look, I just wanted to call my mother, but it was busy. It's not gonna make you go bust.
That broad spends the whole day on the phone, right? She already called up once while I was shooting that sweetie. Some drivel about Adrian in a mirror. I hung up. I got better things to do than listen to that kind of crap.
My mother called, and you didn't tell me?
The old lady's not all there in the head anymore, huh? Where you going? You're not on your own time yet.
Mom? Mom! Okay, think, Darren. I need an ambulance.
Take it to the hospital, but take it real easy. I'll be following in my car in a minute.
How does it look?
She must have stumbled, and now she's got a serious head injury. Exactly how bad it is, we can only find that out in the hospital. Please, collect anything that looks like medication and bring it back to me in the hospital. Could you find out the family doctor's number? Perhaps get a hold of her medical records.
Yeah, I'll go look. I'll see you in the hospital.
Very good. Oh yeah, and we need your mother's insurance card.
The American healthcare system. By the way, if you ever see me trying to take pictures of the most random things, it's because taking pictures of certain stuff unlocks concept art and stuff in the menu, but I don't really know what the pictures are, so yeah, I'm just waving my camera around at everything. We grab what the doctors asked for, and from Darren's comments, we can piece together that his mom used to work at Black Mirror Manor. That is, until the accident.
With that back of hers, she could barely stand, sit, or lie down without causing her pain. And then she has the burns as well. And now this.
More about that later. We head to the hospital to sort everything out and see Mom, but...
Yes?
There is a problem with your mother's insurance card. It looks like she didn't make the last payment.
The American healthcare system. We visit Mom before anything else, and she's in a deep coma. It's not looking good. Darren's understandably angry at the fact that his mom had called Fuller's store, but the charming fella simply hung up on her and didn't even bother to inform us. And now he's gonna pay.
I'd better leave the scales here. What would I do with scales?
Shove them in your pockets? Hello? Anyways, as we're leaving...
No, I can't tell you that. You can talk to her son if you like. He's just... There he is.
Hey, you! What the hell?
Talking to the nurse, she tells us that she doesn't know the elusive gentleman, but that he had an accent.
I think he's British, but with something else too.
Back at Mom's, we have to go through her papers to figure... Oh, hell no, it can never be a 3x3, can it? After some struggle, I managed to solve this column and then just deal with the 3x3. Opening the lid, we find out that she had in fact paid the insurance. And...
What's this? A letter? Dear Rebecca, I have received your letter and am pleased that you're well. Of course, I will furthermore send you the full amount. Your suggestion is well intended, and I wouldn't have expected anything else from you. But there's absolutely no question about your receiving any less, even if he has now left home. You have done a wonderful job, and it's now time that you did something for yourself. Enjoy your life in Maine. With love, C.
We also find this little wooden box, but we can't even try to open it, so okay, more trash in our pockets. With the insurance debacle dealt with, we go back to the Angelina Pig's quest. But...
Whoa, that can't be right. It's the guy from the hospital with Fuller. Who is that guy? And what's he got to do with Fuller? I ought to listen in.
Rigging up this little hook contraption, we unlock the door and listen in. He's asking tons of questions about Darren and Angelina, but we don't find out much else. Back in Fuller's back room...
I can't wind the clock up.
Oops, thankfully no one heard that. Well, seems like Fuller's out, but he took Angelina's film out of the camera. But we have to put everything on hold because Darren, the angsty teen in his 20s that he is, just has to give Fuller a piece of his mind, like, right now. We go down to the basement and there's a secret door here. Anyways, there's a screaming match, we're fired, and now we have to make something up to draw Fuller out of his shop. On the search for our distraction, we read this charming article about Willow Creek, which seems to have become sort of a true crime tourist attraction since the murders by Samuel. How charming. Anyways, we bait the blonde woman with a story of, "Ooh, I work for the magazine for the elite in the South. I wanted to get some pictures and you'd be the perfect model," with Fuller as a photographer, of course.
There's an excellent photographer in town, isn't there?
Fuller? You can't be serious. That savage would never be able to light me properly.
Oh, so you don't know
What don't I know?
who Fuller really is? He's an internationally renowned star photographer from New Zealand. He's been living here incognito for a few years. He's working on his life's work. He's documenting normal folks' lives here in America. Of course, he's got to stay unrecognized to do that. Can you imagine what an effort it must have been for such a cultivated and refined man like Fuller to play a primitive, stinking, sweaty asshole?
That's true art.
You should call him. He could photograph you in your car up on the cliff top.
Now?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to hurry, my lady.
I love Darren so much. I know that his personality isn't for everyone, but like, be honest, you're also sick and tired of protagonists who are just a shell. Also love the touch of comedy that he's adding to the game, and I hope that this keeps up. Well, Fuller's out with Blondie, the coast is clear. I think that if you were paying attention to my inventory here and you've played a video game before, you knew from the beginning what we were gonna do with this stethoscope. And just like that, we get Angelina's film. Now we develop the film with a bunch of chemicals that I've been shoving in my pockets, but we're still missing the photo paper. By the way, you actually have to go through the process of developing, which I think is really cool. All the film developing puzzles in other games are like, get a red light bulb, get chemical 1, get chemical 2, congrats. So I really love how they did it here.
Perfume, like a horror house I once visited in Lille. Smells like teen spirit.
This is Eddie, army vet, allegedly blind. Back in my day type of old man. We'll interact more with him later. Now we get more Darren lore. Mom told us that there was a car crash back in England that killed our dad and left her with those injuries. But Dr. Newhouse here is like, those injuries look more like fall injuries to me. Not trying to say your mom's a liar though. It's okay, Dr. Newhouse. This story is getting fishier by the second. Well, we forged the signature we need on the collection note and get the photo paper, so now we got the pictures. As we're about to head out though...
Can I help you, Mrs. Biba?
Is Fuller there?
No, not at the moment.
Then, can you give him this? Give it to him personally. As soon as he gets back, I gotta go.
I feel sorry for her. There's something not right going on here. Could it help me get one over on Fuller? Huh. But I can't put Mrs. Biba in danger. She gives the impression she can't take much more. If I could secretly open the envelope, then I could look at what's inside and put the envelope in the mailbox later.
Don't worry, Mrs. Biba. We'll help you out. After we go see Angelina.
I should be looking after my mother or beating the crap out of Fuller's fat face. But instead, I'm standing here with a stomach full of butterflies. Alright, let's go.
Come in.
Hello, Angelina. Have I come at a bad time?
No, come in.
I've got the pictures with me. Here.
Oh, great.
To be honest, it's anything other than great. The wrong lighting, pathetic composition. Fuller has really no idea what he's doing.
I thought that might be the case. I'm sure they would have been better if you'd taken them. How would you take my picture?
Well, your face should, well,
Just do it!
Huh?
Don't tell me that you, the would-be star photographer, haven't got a camera with you.
Sure, of course.
Come on, then. I still need a present for my parents' wedding anniversary.
Very nice. The light is perfect.
No, it's not. It's coming from behind her.
What brings you here? Look over that way. Yeah, like that. Are you an actress or something like that?
You got it. I'm a famous English actress on my way to Hollywood. No, but seriously. I study literature and history in England. I'm interested in English immigrants in America. Their aspirations, their dreams, their reality.
Wow, that's interesting.
Perhaps we could do a few more special pictures? For your portfolio. I always wanted to have a few photos of myself as a model.
Oh, sure. I don't know, what did you have in mind?
I thought maybe like this. Or like this.
That's it. The film is full.
Oh, shame. I was just getting warmed up. What do you say we go for a meal?
Actually, I'm not hungry yet, but...
Tonight. In the diner. I'll pay. In return for the photos, okay?
Yes. Sure. Sounds good.
All right, then. See you tonight. Can you develop the pictures by then?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm looking forward to it.
Jeez. That was certainly something.
Yes, Miss Angelina Morgan has a room here. Would you like to leave her a message, or would you like to go up?
How many nights has she booked?
No more pictures on the film.
I'm sorry, sir, but you'll have to ask Miss Morgan herself. I can't.
All right.
Brown comb-back hair, a long straight nose, eyes close together.
Which room is she in, then?
I'll inform her that you're here. Mr.
That won't be necessary. I'll come back later.
Thin lips, sallow skin, angular face, pointed chin.
But please, don't tell her I was here. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Hello? What's wrong? Sir?
And he's gone. What does this guy want?
Oh god, here we go. We go over to Eddie's and do him a couple of favors so he'll be more inclined to let us borrow his projector.
You know, maybe you ain't so much of a idiot as I thought.
Aww. Then we take a red light bulb from the diner, and luckily I already had the rest of the stuff thanks to my diligent exploration.
I wish I could make some reprints of some of the pictures, but there's no more photo paper left. But I'm gonna keep at least one.
Oh, Darren, my dearest teenager in his 20s. Now on to Bible's letter to Fuller, which we can seamlessly unseal with steam.
The steam's loosening the glue. Got it. The paper hasn't torn and the glue still sticks. I can reseal the letter. But first, I want to see what's inside. Holy, that's gotta be $1,500. Huh. There's some kind of blackmailing going on here. Mrs. Biber hates Fuller, and she didn't want her husband to see that I gave her a letter from him this morning. It would seem he knows nothing about it. But what's it about? I'd love to send Fuller off to jail for blackmail. But first I gotta find out what he's blackmailing Mrs. Biber with.
What a fucking... I honestly hope he gets exactly what he deserves. Oh well, no time for that right now though. We've got a date.
And you think that the guy is following me? A student from England? Why?
No idea. I didn't say that he is following you. I only said that he might be. Perhaps it's me he's following.
It's all right, Darren. I didn't mean to upset you. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I don't know. It's just all too much for me at the moment. My mom's in the hospital, there's this thing with England, and then this guy.
Which thing with England?
Yeah, well, my mom, she gets money from England. A village called Willow Creek. Do you know it?
Yes. I even know roughly where it is.
I think it's a place where my mom worked as a cook.
And she still gets money from there? Her plum pudding must be heavenly.
That's the thing. I mean, that's more than 20 years ago. Who's sending her over $1,000 every month? And for what? I found this box next to the bank transfers.
Huh.
I've never seen it before. And that coat of arms with the 3 lions? That's an English emblem, isn't it?
It is.
What exactly are you doing?
I just thought you maybe wanted to see what's inside.
You know how to open it?
There were thousands of these caskets produced in the 19th century. There's a special kind of lock mechanism that's supposed to keep curious people out.
Well, it didn't really work.
What's inside?
A photo.
A man and a woman in front of a wrought iron gate. Is that your mum? And the man, is that your father? Is there anything written on the back? Blackmere Castle, Willow Creek, England, October 1969. What's wrong?
My mom.
Darren?
Do you think she looks 5 months pregnant?
I mean, sometimes people don't show like at all. But this is a video game, that obviously isn't the case, right?
Darren Michaels? My name's Conley. I'm captain of the local police department. May I come in?
Sure. So,
you work in Fuller's photo studio, is that right?
Not anymore. Not since yesterday.
Not anymore? Why?
The work atmosphere. I quit.
Quit? Or were you thrown out? Was there an argument?
Why? Has something happened to Fuller? Please say yes.
Well, yes.
Have you arrested him? Or did someone beat him up in a dark alley?
Would you be happy about that?
Only if it was painful.
He's dead. He was stabbed to death in the early hours of the morning. We're still counting the wounds. Can you tell us anything about that?
No. Nothing you'd find fitting.
Someone must have been pretty angry with old Mr. Fuller. How angry were you with him, Darren?
So angry that I don't feel sorry that he's dead. But I've got nothing to do with it. Look, I saw him for the last time yesterday afternoon when he threw me out.
And you haven't been in the store since then?
No.
Where were you last night?
I was in Biba's diner with a friend.
Correct. Angelina Morgan. You haven't known her very long, have you?
Do you have to be engaged if you want to go out with a woman in this town?
Very funny. Only if you did know her better, you might be able to explain why Miss Morgan murdered Mr. Fuller.
What?
She was standing over Mr. Fuller's corpse, covered in blood.
That's crazy. Perhaps she found Fuller dead and wanted to help him.
That's what she claims too. And what was she doing in Fuller's store in the middle of the night?
What do I know? Ask her.
We have. She says she was told to go there by a man on the phone.
By the guy following her.
Correct, by a stranger. That's why I'm here. Miss Morgan says that you told her about Pursuer.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hotel owner saw him too.
I've already been to see him. He confirmed that someone was asking after Miss Morgan, but he couldn't give us a proper description. Did you get a proper look at the man?
I did. His eyes are close together, and...
Not here. Come down to the station. We can do a photo fit there.
No, that's not him. The hairline was higher.
Like that, perhaps?
No, it was more... Can't you just let me have a go at it?
Sure.
Oh lordy. Okay, wanna see a magic trick? Ta-da! That's him, moving on.
I'm gonna find out what's going on here. She is innocent. What was her motive?
That's the thing. We don't know.
Look, others had a motive. Fuller blackmailed people.
Is that so?
Mrs. Biba from the diner, she paid Fuller. Lots of money.
How do you know that?
Is that important? She had a motive. And what about that guy? He was at Fuller's yesterday.
We didn't find any money in Fuller's store, and this gentleman's a witness. Nothing else. As far as the alleged blackmailing is concerned, have you any evidence?
Evidence? Ask Mrs. Biba.
And she's gonna tell us if she was blackmailed by Fuller?
She put her under pressure.
Based on your speculation? No, that's not enough. We need evidence. Or at least something that would suggest blackmail before we can move on it. And until then, our only suspect is over there behind bars.
Fine, then I'll get a hold of the evidence. Where do I start? I need evidence that Fuller was a blackmailer. But what did he blackmail Mrs. Biba with? And was it just her or were there others? I bet the secret door in his basement has something to do with it. But how do I open it? Has Fuller still got the key on him? I've got to find out. I'm convinced that Britt set up a trap for Angelina.
I love how he says Brit like it's an actual slur. Before we head over to Fuller's, I just want to say that Darren and I have divergent artistic views, because he never wants to take pictures of what I want. Well, we're here and the police blocked off the scene of the crime, obviously. We tied this grate and the window here together with rope and go talk to some people. Honestly, I don't think I have a way to open this just yet. Talking to Eddie, he says that he has an amazing hearing, but it was raining the previous night, so he won't be able to help us in that regard. Ah, amazing! Another task to our list. Find a way to snoop around Angelina's room at the hotel. Heading over to Biba's, we see Mrs. Biba throwing something in the trash. Dumpster diving? My favorite! We find this torn up letter and I painstakingly put it back together. Here's what it says.
Yeah, I think it's a letter from Fuller to Mrs. Biba. Maybe even the one I stuck in her hand yesterday? Dearest Claire, I'm a little disappointed
that you don't come to visit me anymore. Don't you miss our time together at all? All the fun we had? Take a look at the pictures. You look so happy and contented. Don't you think so too? I tell you, that was some kind of fun we had too. And you just can't bring yourself to admit it. Are you worried about it getting out? Well, it would be too embarrassing, wouldn't it? A married businesswoman has to watch her reputation. What would the folks say? What would your husband do with you? It would be a scandal. But I'll protect you from it. Me and 15 Ben Franklin stand between you and shame. I'll expect the, bonus this evening. Bring it to me, and I'll enjoy myself with your pictures for a few more weeks. F.
That's at least evidence that Fuller was blackmailing Mrs. Biba. 15 Ben Franklins is $1,500. But is that going to be enough for the cops? They're going to ask her what he was blackmailing her with. And if they ask her, Biba will deny everything. I've got to find out what Fuller was using to blackmail her. And I'm sure that the answer is behind that secret door.
Next, we stop by the hospital and...
The mirror! Don't go through the mirror.
Nurse? The nurse doesn't care, I guess. Well, I found this metal bar here. Guess we can use it with the rope to open the grate.
Hey, if it worked in ancient Egypt, it should work here. Beaten by a centuries-old technique. Shame on you.
We're in!
Whoa. I think I need more sleep.
Oh, Darren, it's not looking good for you. So, onto the secret door. In the back room, we can see this world map here, with some locations highlighted. In the basement, each backdrop corresponds to one location, so we just have to drop them in the correct order, and...
Battered-looking numeric pad with small metal buttons. I guess that you have to enter a code to open the door. If it really is a kind of scale, then it could measure Fuller's weight while he tapped in the secret number into this pad, and the door would only open when the two matched. Pretty well thought through for sure. For me, there's the problem that I have no idea how heavy Fuller is. I've got to find that out if I want to make progress here.
Damn it, Fuller, why did you have to make this so complicated?
Alright then, I'll take that heavy thing with me.
We now distract the nurse by unplugging the vitals thingy and grab this delivery note. It, along with the fake package I grabbed earlier, gives us a pretty good excuse to go into the morgue to pickpocket and weigh Fuller. But the security guard here is very strict, and we need an ID as well. This is the type of thing that makes me wonder, how does a normal person become someone who likes enforcing bureaucracy? Anyways, at the diner, we noticed that Dr. Newhouse has an ID.
Hey, Can I get a pot of coffee?
On its way.
Hot. Oh man, sorry. It was an accident. Sorry.
It's all right. Your thoughts are elsewhere.
Now that's what I call a serious coffee stain. And the ID badge is still pinned to the lab coat.
Dr. Newhouse is so nice. I'm so sorry, dude. But it's for a good cause, because we can finally go into the morgue. We pick up Fullers. I've been saying Fullers, I don't know. Fullers. I think it's Fullers, I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. But we pick up his keys and a syringe.
Quite clean.
And now we need to distract the security guard outside so that we can weigh the body without any interruptions. Good thing that he's thirsty and I picked up this laxative earlier.
I've drawn a little of the laxative into the syringe. Nice. That's the laxative in the soda bottle. Hey boss, you want a soda?
What do you want for it?
Nothing.
You just gonna give me a soda as a friendly gesture?
Exactly.
That's very... nice. Perhaps you could do me another favor. Can you keep watch here for a minute? I'll be right back. Real quick. It's an emergency.
I am honestly so sorry. I'm feeling so guilty about getting in everyone's way. Like, in Black Mirror 1, I didn't feel like this at all. And I think it's because its characters were like, kinda cardboard cutouts. And the characters in Black Mirror 2 feel much more fleshed out, even the ones we interact with so little, like the security guard. Anyways, we weigh Fuller and run some numbers in our heads, then...
Don't move!
What the... Look, I didn't want to...
What are you doing? The soda's poison, right? It's in the lab right now. And if it turns out you trying to poison me...
Yeah, well... poisoned...
You going to jail for this, you terrorist!
And you were missing your old boss and wanted to say goodbye to him.
Something like that.
Don't give me that crap. Breaking and entering, larceny, we can lock you up for that. When this gets out, and Dick's gonna make sure that everyone in town knows about his heroic act by tomorrow morning, then it's gonna look like you wanted to get rid of evidence, or something like that.
Can I go now?
Darren, I'm not against you, but keep your nose out of this. If we catch you snooping around again, you're gonna end up in the can, capiche?
Yeah, capiche.
Huh. I think you kinda missed the point that Snoop Around is our middle name, officer. Back at the photo store, we use the keys on the cuckoo clock and get this little box with some negatives inside. So we line the negatives up and get the code. Now we only need to deal with the weight and voila!
Somewhere there's gotta be... Ah, here. Oh my god.
Listen, this isn't exactly unexpected, but something about this room makes me deeply uncomfortable. It's like I'm actually there, you know?
Lots of little bottles of knockout drops. That's... oh god. I picked them up. Oh, fullest package, it clinked. There's only Mrs. Biba in these pictures. But there could be other pictures of other women. And therefore lots of people with a motive. That, along with the blackmail letter, should easily convince the police. I'll get her out of jail with this.
Okay, good. Let's get the hell out of here.
Look, I guess your people would find even more in Fuller's secret room. Then you'll have plenty of suspects, all with good motives.
I've already sent some people over there. But all of this doesn't prove that it wasn't Miss Morgan.
But she had no motive.
Yes, She did.
That's him! That's the guy that followed me!
Nice that you came, Mr.
Reginald Boris is my name, Captain. I'm a private detective from England. I'm sure I can contribute a few things that will clear up this case quite considerably. Why did Miss Morgan murder the photographer Fuller? Well, quite simple. She was also photographed by him. As you can see, not quite as revealing as the others, but I haven't got all of the photos. I'm sure your people will find other pictures that put it beyond all doubt.
What the? Those are mine! I shot those pictures of Angelina yesterday afternoon!
All right, calm down. What's going on here?
You'd better ask him! He must have stolen these pictures from Angelina's hotel room. These pictures have got nothing to do with it.
It's the same photo paper as the other ones.
And I got them from Fuller. He said he had lots more.
Oh, man. Lies!
Well, we'll see about that. Darren, go and get some fresh air. Calm yourself down.
This can't be for real.
You know, I believe you. You were right about Fuller, and there's something not quite right with this Detective Boris. In a few days, everything will be cleared up. Until then, you should just wait. And go visit your mother.
Wait, a few days? And give this asshole time to get new evidence? Yeah, right. Next thing you know, he'll frame her for the Kennedy assassination. I'm gonna find out what game he's playing.
Now we head to the hotel, and...
Get lost, you damn critters! Get off my veranda! Stop with ya!
I'm sorry. In Angelina's room.
I don't believe it. A microphone. A listening device. The bastards bugged Angelina. I knew it. A radio set. The bug only needs to transmit a few yards, and then this powerful set amplifies the signal and sends it on to wherever.
Huh, the plucked chickens. Let's go to Eddie's.
Where have you come from? What do you think you're doing?
You
can't just march through the rooms. This is a discreet, familial hotel. Where is the key for room 5? Miss Morgan's room! You've got it! Give it here! Immediately! Don't let the police hear about this, for heaven's sake! And now get out! I never want to see you here again!
If you just...
Out!
Eddie says this about the radio.
I know all the hams in the area, and none of them would hide that kind of thing in a lady's room. But I intercepted some strange Morse code last night. Long wave, just after 1800 hours. Someone knew. He said something about a girl who is now safe. He also said he'd be back in touch today at 1800 hours.
That could have been Reginald Boris.
A foreigner?
Yes. And apart from that, perhaps Old Fuller's murderer. And someone who wants to frame an innocent party.
And you want to stop that? Well, maybe there's a spark of decency in you yet.
Can we track down Reginald if he transmits again at 1800 hours?
Well, you bet. With directional antennas. I got one here. We'll have to build another one. We'll get his bearings from 2 different points, and then bang! We got him.
Yay, more trash for my hungry pockets. There's a pair of headphones and a compass at home. We already have a metal bar, and we steal the copper wire from Bibas. And just like that, we have our direction finder. Thanks, Eddie.
You take the receiver down to the coast, somewhere near the hotel. You turn on the radio.
We get the bearings and find out that Reginald Boris is on a boat. That's why he's been so elusive. And Eddie relays this piece of information.
Didn't you hear the message? He plans on coming back into town again tonight, looking for you.
Well, off we go.
I'd rather get hold of the evidence of Angelina's innocence myself. And this time, it'll all be watertight.
Here we are at the Brit's boat, and seems like he's been paparazzing us. We take a weird sheet of paper and find a folder labeled A with pictures of Angelina growing up, and a list with all the spots in her route. This proves that he's been following her. In this laptop, there are pictures of Willow Creek. Why does it all go back to that place? Then we do something and follow these directions Darren mentions to open the safe. I brute forced the first part of the puzzle, so I don't know what to tell you. Inside, there's this tree ring and a floppy disk. In it, there's Mom's medical records from 1973, saying that her injuries were caused by a bad fall, and pictures of Fuller's shop in the night of the murder. Seems like Mr. Baiba is the culprit. Then...
Good evening, Mr. Michaels.
You! Stay away from me!
That's very difficult on such a small boat. What did you say?
What do you want from me?
It's all very complicated, believe me. But we'll have enough time to clear it up. We're both going on a little trip.
I don't think so.
Ah!
Damn it!
Ah!
It was really brave of you to take them.
Yeah. Well, I actually had no other choice.
If you say so.
Wish you'd stay here. Or that I could come with you.
We've been through this already. You have to stay here with your mother until she gets better. You can come and visit me in a few weeks. By then I'll know more about the mysterious Willow Creek.
What? What do you mean?
I'm going to investigate. Willow Creek, Reginald Boris, about the time your mother was at the castle. Don't worry, Dele. I'm going to miss you. Anyway, I know who can save me if I get into trouble.
Our dear teenager in his 20s saves the day.
Darren?
Huh?
They just called from the hospital. You should get over there straight away.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. No, 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 no.
Your mom's heart failed this morning.
What? No, 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 that's impossible.
I really am very sorry.
Mom!
Hello, this is Rebecca Michaels. Unfortunately, I'm not at home at the moment. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Darren? Darren, are you there? He's here, Darren. Reginald Boris is here. I went to Willow Creek. I couldn't resist. Please forgive me. I found out a few things about this place. It seems there's something like a conspiracy here, and I think Reginald Boris is part of it. I saw him today, and now... No! No! Go! Ah! Darren! Help me!
Hello? Hello? Angelina!
This poor guy just wanted to pay for his tuition in physics. Now look what's happened in only 2 days. Well, no time to mourn the loss of our mom. We gotta save Angelina, so we head over to Willow Creek. Is that... Oh my god, it is. Slay. By the way, I forgot to mention that the weird right-click mechanic from the previous game is gone here.
3 flags hanging here. England, Great Britain, and the European Union. The last one's gotta be there, just for the foreign tourists.
Making our way inside, we meet Murray. Wait, wasn't he the pawn shop owner? And just by the melodic sound of his voice, you can tell that he's gonna be public enemy number 1. He tells us a bit about what happened after Samuel's shenanigans.
Immediately after the murders 12 years ago, the tourists came in throngs. They wanted to see everything. But where could they stay the night? There wasn't a hotel. So, I bought this building. The patients were taken away straight after the incident, of course. Some also escaped. So, anyway, I bought the house, had it renovated, and now it's the best hotel in the place.
He won't tell us anything about Angelina unless we're checked into the hotel. So yeah, we're staying in the former asylum.
Now, I can't talk to strangers about guests. The hotel's reputation, you see.
So Murray informs us that she did check in here, room 13, right next to ours. But we can't have a look in there, even though she might be in danger and whatnot, because the hotel reputation, you see. We also find out that there's a museum of the murders where the pawn shop used to be in Willow Creek. So we'll check that out later. And Victoria, Samuel's grandma, is still alive? She already looked 112 years ago. I don't know how she does it. Darren notices some interesting plastic souvenirs on the counter there.
What's that then? A soul key?
They are powerful, magical artifacts. What's for certain is that he killed for it, and that the keys, assuming they ever existed, disappeared when he committed suicide.
Well, Slay, first objective here, distract Murray so we can get the key to room 13. While exploring, we find some matches and an old newspaper. Are you thinking of what I'm thinking of?
Murray, there's smoke outside. I hope the hotel isn't gonna burn down around our heads.
Bugger! Oh!
Listen, it's been a while since I stayed in a hotel, but like, do the blankets look like that? And guess what? There's something under the bed. Guess this is James's old cell. Over here, there's a completely normal picture of Angelina on the hotel wall. It must be a clue for us. Behind it, there are some blank notes and some lemons on the table. Yep, it's the good old note that becomes visible once heated up. Here are some important points.
Monday, 2 p.m. I've got something on the tree symbol that Darren discovered on Boris's ring. The symbol is mentioned in the Chronicle of the Gordon family. I also stumbled across it in the library. It's the symbol of a secret society, a kind of sect that wants to summon up dark powers and uses corpses in the process. What if Boris is one of them? Monday, 9 p.m. He's here. Reginald Boris is here in Willow Creek. I've just seen him sneaking about the hotel. What should I do? Is he here because of me? Now, of all times, right when I want to investigate the passage. I'm not going to let myself be stopped, but I'll send off some insurance.
Ooh, a secret society! Honestly, I prefer the whole Forgotten History and Ruins motif of the first game, but like, I'm down for some secret society action. Checking the thingy out, it opens with a combination, so we'll have to come back here later. On to the village of Willow Creek.
We all know that old one.
What do you mean?
A young, attractive lady is carrying a stack of books and lets them fall at the feet of the hero.
Excuse me? I'm the librarian here, so it's quite right that I should be carrying books around the place. Young? Attractive? Well, I'll accept that. But why do you consider yourself to be a hero?
You're the librarian? Oh, then you can definitely tell me something worth knowing about this place, Miss,
Valley.
She then gives us a tour of the town. The pub is owned by a guy named Tom now, and he's really sketchy. There's a carnival in town, there's the museum, and Miss Valley seems to have a personal connection to the murders.
Can you help me with the symbol? A tree where the roots reach around and up into the branches. That mean anything to you?
Where do you know that from?
You know something about it?
You ought to forget about it again as soon as possible.
I stumbled across it in Maine, and now I'd like to know if it...
Maine? You come... But you said Boston. I've still got something to finish. Good day.
Maybe she's part of the secret society or something, but I guess we'll investigate it later. Since we're already here, let's take a look at the museum. We meet the guard, Bobby, who has an intellectual disability and is Tom's brother.
Tom? From the chili stand over there? You shouldn't worry about what he says.
But he's my brother. He looks after me, and I'm a big burden, he says.
What does Tom do for you that makes you such a burden?
Oh, he does a lot. I'm allowed to stay at his place and help in the pub.
Does he pay you?
No, Tom doesn't have much money. He says I cost too much because I eat too much. But now I give him the money that I get here, then it's perhaps not so bad anymore.
He takes all of your money so you can live at his place. I don't find that fair.
It's okay. It's better than having to do those other things again.
What kind of things?
He used to make me help him doing bad things. I don't like it. I'm a guard. Guards can't steal.
Tom stole things, and you had to help him.
Oh, no. No, I didn't say that. Oh, no.
Bobby, it's okay. I didn't hear a thing.
Thank you, Darren.
Brother of the Year. Over here we see the Gordon Family Chronicle in a display, open on a very specific page.
I still don't know what the Order's aim is, but it seems to be one single big aim. It's gotta be on the pages before these. I've gotta get that chronicle somehow.
Further to the right, we find a document talking about the history of the sewer system in Willow Creek, blah 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 blah, and oh, there's a World War II bunker nearby. We then head over to the infamous back of the museum. Whoa, what a charming place. Anyways, Bobby tells us that he has the keys for the Chronicle display over there, so we need to find a way to get them in order to find out more about the secret society. Plus, someone broke into the museum some time ago and stole something from this display here.
There was just a ball in it.
What kind of ball?
A big black one.
Very well, I shan't say. Let's go get some chili for Bobby. Maybe that will help us out. Talking to Tom. By the way, wasn't Tom the sketchy guy that we hired to distract Dr. Herman on the first game? We find out that Miss Valley is Vic's sister. Like, she was the one who found him in the woods. Damn. He also tells us that he hasn't seen Angelina and seems to be telling the truth. Moving on, we take the chili to Bobby and get him some bubble mixture so that he's distracted and we can grab the display key. But just as we're about to unlock the padlock...
Dear visitors, it is 8 p.m. The museum is now closing. Please make your way to the exit.
Well, no great loss because it didn't seem like the best idea to do something against the rules before like 3 witnesses.
Get out of here!
Huh?
You're putting us all in danger. You are death!
Leave me alone.
It's the curse. The curse! It's gonna get you!
Oh, Darren, it's not looking good for you. We go back to the hotel just to bump into a very nervous-looking Miss Valley.
It's just the 12 years, you understand.
No.
And how could you? You aren't... I mean... Every 12 years... Every 12 years, something terrible happens. In the village, in the castle, in the forest. Dreadful things.
Oh, it's a 12-year cycle? She says that it doesn't have anything to do with us though. And, as you probably know, 99% of the citizens of Point-and-Click Adventureland don't know how to lie, so I think we should believe her, for now. Talking to Murray, he says that he received a letter for Angelina that was posted yesterday and not from far. But the reputation of the hotel, blah 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 blah. Let's see what we can do about it. Huh, I don't even remember where I got these sleeping meds, but...
That's it. Sweet dreams.
Good. Now we need a lockpicking tool. Good thing that the owner of the local pub is such a sketchy guy. We need to get him drunk first, but he eventually gives us the tool.
I feel like the world's biggest asshole.
Yeah. Then there's this lockpicking puzzle, which I think is very well done. They usually scramble my brain, but it's very clear that this is the line you have to follow. And also I don't remember a puzzle ever having a lockpick that you can deform to your heart's content. Usually it's just some set shapes or movements. Very cool. Anyways, let's check this letter out.
A sealed letter. Angelina's name's on it. It was posted yesterday. Locally around here. I ought to read it. It could get me somewhere. Let's see. If anyone's reading this, then something's gone wrong.
My name is Angelina Morgan, and I'm gathering information about Black Mirror Castle, the Gordon family, and a secret society. I feel under threat and am being followed by a man called Reginald Boris. Please contact the police and Darren Michaels in Biddeford, Maine, USA for further information. I've heard scratching noises coming from beneath my room. I'm scared. I have discovered a space under the floor and was able to decipher the code. The solution was known by 2 storytelling brothers from Germany, GFT 62 17 1 25. I'm going to throw in this letter and ask Murray for another room. Darren, if you're reading this letter, I've really tried. So I'd like to thank you here for your help. I love you.
No. I would break down if anything happened to her.
Dude, let's not give up, she might still be alive. 2 storytelling brothers should be ringing a few bells in your brain.
Grimm's fairy tales, that's gotta be it.
The numbers she listed on the letter refer to the Queen Bee, the White Snake, the Frog King, and the 7 ravens respectively. So we line the animals up with the numbers, and yeah, we're going into the sewers. Oh wait, we need a light. Good thing that Murray sells these light up soul keys.
Oh man.
Those things are huge. I thought they were like keychains or something. No wonder they don't sell. Now we navigate through the sewers and find ourselves in the bunker, and the soul key broke during the fall.
We've been expecting you, Darren.
What is this? Who are you?
One day, you will be our guest.
What are you gonna do? What have you done with Angelina? No. No!
I'm going now. By the way, escape is impossible. This is an old Second World War bunker. There are meter-thick concrete walls, steel, and rock between you and freedom. We'll come for you in a few days, Darren. I wish you a pleasant stay.
Damn it! What do you want from me? Why did you have to use Angelina as bait? Why her?
This can't be true. We have to escape.
Alright then. Real careful now.
I have no idea what I just did. As you might remember from the previous video, I don't like these mine settings. I know that this is not a mine, but it looks very similar to the mines, and I don't want to be here more than necessary. Opening the locker door, we find...
Oh crap. I know I'm gonna regret this. Oh my god. Angelina's pursuer, Reginald Boris. He's been stabbed to death. Ah!
Don't let it happen. You have to stop the evil.
God damn it! This can't be for real. This can't be for real.
Dude, why is everyone around us dropping like flies? Anyways, looking in his breast pocket, we find half of a weird poem about the gardens. We'll keep it for now. We open this hatch here and find another hatch, but this one's rusty and impossible to open. Okay, time to take a look at our possessions. Our loot from the bunker is a chain, a screwdriver, magnesium flares, a rubber dinghy, a fuse cable, insulation tape, a stick of dynamite, and a hose. The detonator's right there, by the way. Guess we have to explode our way out of here.
You know, sometimes the only thing that helps is brute force.
Sure enough, it's penetrated the hatch. There's some kind of pipe down there. It leads downwards. It would be big enough for me, but I can't see where it leads. And I can't squeeze past the piece of concrete.
Back to square one then. Oh, never mind, we just have to inflate the dinghy. There's a grate on the other side there, but no ladder. Well, I guess it's time to go for a swim. After dealing with these live cables, of course.
It won't work with that. Those are nuts. They're keeping the grate in place.
Darren can't hold on to the grate for 30 seconds. Why does he sink like a rock? Okay, take two, we make it. Oh god, look at this door. We're not gonna make it through that. Good thing that there's a crevice here. Let's see. Nothing that some stones, a wagon, and a chain can't do. Going out the crevice, we end up in the Secret Society's HQ. Look, it's the founder of the asylum. There's no one here, so everything's a-okay. Luckily, the door's open, so...
Ah! Oh. Who the hell was that? And now where am I? I've got to free myself somehow before whoever it is comes back.
Well, yeah, let's get to work. Ooh, shard of glass. Nice. And it's not for cutting the rope. We use it to open this bottle of kerosene, soak a rag, and use another glass shard as a magnifying glass to make a fire. And then we burn the ropes. I actually really love the way they subverted my expectations with this puzzle. Very cool. Anyways, we find a kid's toy, so yippee, I guess. Behind this sheet here, we find a Gordon family tree. So is this Black Mirror? Did 110-year-old Lady Victoria kidnap us? Moving over to more practical matters, we rig up this wrecking ball with this bundle and the rope that was binding us. So now we check downstairs to scope out the scene.
A hallway with a stair at the end. There's a kids program on the TV.
Is there anything I can do for you, Samuel?
What the hell was that?
Hello? Yes. We've arrived. It's nice here. Everything's just like you said. No, Tom's gone shopping. Yes, Tom tied him up with rope. I know. The man wasn't very nice to me. But I don't think it's good that he can't leave. Yes, I'll keep watch. Bye.
I think I'm slowly going mad. There was a woman's voice. She called me Samuel, and I heard music. Alright, now I really must pull myself together. Bobby's sitting down there, and Tom's somewhere around too. The pair of them have kidnapped me on behalf of someone who knows this house. But where the hell am I here? And more importantly, how the hell do I get away?
We're at my beloved. We're in Wales. But it looked so trashy, oh no. Well, Bobby, you're gonna pay for what you probably didn't do to the Wales manor. We create this dummy so that Bobby isn't immediately like, oh my god, he's escaped. And then...
Okay, now I need to act quickly.
Hello? Everything okay? Oh.
Sorry, Bobby. Nothing personal. And now, let's get out of here. But where's all my stuff? I need my camera.
It's probably in this chest. That's locked. Let's see. We have this piece of paper and we have charcoal. You know what this means, right?
The circles are recessed into the wood. That means that the... Hey, worked well. You can easily recognize the circles as well as the lines. What if the circles on the chest are simplified notes? Notes which just give the pitch but not the duration of the note.
No. Anything but sound-based puzzles. I'd even take the slide puzzle. I'd even take the 4x3, 4x4, 5x4 slide puzzle. Anything but sound-based puzzles. Listen, I'm not hard of hearing, but I am god-awful at any sort of note recognition and stuff. Like, I have no idea what to do here and I never will. After a quick trip to Walk-Through Land, we make it through the piano puzzle and open the chest, retrieving our stuff. Outside, we meet this kid, Van Helsing. Although we know where we are, someone has to inform Darren that we're in Wales. Mr. Van Helsing tells us something very interesting.
Have you seen the two men who are living in the castle now?
Yes, nasty men. The woman was much nicer.
Which woman?
Was here a few weeks ago. She was snooping around and asked me about the summer house and the laboratory. And then she went. She took some blood samples with her.
Strange. Did she tell you her name, or what she planned to do with them?
She needed the blood for research. Angelina said.
Whoa, what? What did the woman look like?
Well, like a woman. Pretty.
Like this? Did she look like this?
Yes, that's her.
And when did you say she was here?
It was before my birthday. About 4 weeks ago.
Long before we coincidentally bumped into each other in Biddeford. That can't possibly be a coincidence. Angela snoops around the Gordon estate, and I discover a connection to this very family
in Biddeford?
Well, other than that, he also tells us that Richard died in an explosion in his lab, and that's why Lady Eleanor moved to Black Mirror. So, Angelina probably lied to us, or works for the Order, or something. By the way, this decay looks a little much for just 10 years, but like, that's just my personal opinion. There's even moss on the door. Anyways, we walk around my beloved place and the next objective, open the sarcophagus.
In horror stories, there's always secret passageways under sarcophaguses like this. And they always lead down into secret underground chambers. In reality, though, I think I can exclude that idea. There are only probably some horrible beetles and corpse-eating maggots in there.
We chop down some tree trunks and lie them together with the pieces of rope. And with just a few other common household items, we create this contraption that dislodges the stone lid. There's a passage there, and it leads to the old tower lab. We now need a code for this safe here, and find a folder with some newspaper clippings recapping the events of the previous game. But like, turns out the code was just written on the wall here. How careless, Richard. Well, turns out that the blood Angelina took belonged to William and Richard. What does she want with Gordon blood? We can't trust her anymore, at least not until we have more information. When we're heading out, Van Helsing lets us know that Tom is back. We gotta find a way to evade him and escape.
Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. That's why the morass is relatively hard and dry. Otherwise, I would have sunk in deeper, and might not have been able to get out on my own. The hose is in position. It's on. Okay, good. Let's put the whole swamp underwater. That ought to do it. Okay, let's hope everything works as planned.
Hey! Tom!
Stop! Stay where you are! Don't move or I'll shoot.
And I'd bet that'd be the highlight of your last 5 minutes on Earth, Tom.
Get me out of here!
Huh, why should I? Weren't you gonna shoot me just now?
I wanna get out of here!
Then throw your weapon into the swamp and give me your car keys.
I'll...
You'll what? Die in utter misery?
There. Now get me out of here.
Not so fast. What's going on with Angelina? Is she involved with all this?
I've already told you. I don't know any Angelina.
Tja, I'm inclined to doubt that. She was only in the village a few days ago.
One more time. I don't know any Angelina, and there was nobody sniffing around the village either. Except you, okay?
Who ordered you to kidnap me? Was it this secret society?
I don't know anything about a secret society.
The Order. That means nothing to you?
Yeah. Okay. I was supposed to find you, knock you out, and bring you here.
And then?
She was going to call me on the phone and give me further instructions.
She?
A woman. Sounded quite old. No idea who she is.
And she didn't want me staying in Willow Creek?
Yeah. I was supposed to bring you here as soon as possible.
Do you know who belongs to the Order?
No idea. I've only ever seen these nutters over by the mine. They were wearing masks. I don't know who they all were.
Alright then, I'm gone. The police will be here soon.
And we're back to the hotel. Good luck in jail and everything, Tom. There's a letter waiting for us here, from Angelina. You got some explaining to do.
Who delivered it?
I don't know. It was in the hotel's post box. But there's no stamp on it, so it must have been delivered personally.
Huh. Thanks. Hey, it's from Angelina. Dear Darren, I haven't been completely honest with you.
I've been concerned with Willow Creek and Black Mirror for some time, and it was you I was looking for in Biddeford. I stumbled upon something there that I don't want to write about here. I can only tell you this much. You are in danger. There's a group of people who are out to kill you. They were already after you in Maine. They caught me here in Willow Creek. I managed to escape, and I've been hiding in a safe place since then. I found out today that you are here. I'll explain everything to you and hope that you will forgive me. No, I know that you'll forgive me when you know the dreadful truth. Come to the old lighthouse tonight at 11 o'clock. Make sure that no one follows you. I'll explain everything to you there. Together we can put an end to this whole thing. Take care of yourself, and trust no one. You don't know who might belong to the Order. Angelina.
I'm cautious about this meeting, and fortunately Darren is too. I think anyone who plays these kinds of games is always so happy when the main character isn't stupid. Anyways, back to the present moment. The timing of this letter is very suspicious. Just as I'm kidnapped and taken to Wales, where I might find some reason to suspect her, she spins this tale? Since we have nothing better to do, we literally fall asleep in this wardrobe to wait for the museum to close, so that we can take a look at the chronicle without anyone bothering us. And now we find out that the society was founded to guard the scriptures and prevent Mordred from coming back.
Does that mean the Order want to prevent Mordred from gaining power again? 100-year-old crazy ass. Crazy. But assuming the people in the Order really believe in it, then why are they after me? I don't intend to bring Mordred or any other bad spirits back into the world. And even if, how could I? These guys are completely nuts. People have been murdered here because of this ghost story. And Angelina, does she believe in this? Time that I ask her just that. We're gonna meet at the lighthouse soon.
It's true that Darren's story has been sorta devoid of anything supernatural, at least from his POV. When we leave the museum...
Not again.
From days done by till days be done, the same befalls each golden sun, a silent shadow hanging long. Gripping terror doth grow and grow, never cast into the light, never is an end in sight.
What? What did you say? Where do you know this poem from?
Ghosts in robes. They've got horrible white faces. In the forest, near the haunted mine.
Hey, wait! Do you belong to the Order? That was the poem that Reginald Boris had on him. He probably belongs to the Order. And the bum said he heard the poem near the mine. I should go and have a look around there before I go and meet Angelina. So it's here. Man, what's wrong with me? If I was superstitious, I'd say a couple of ghosts just tried to make contact with me. But let's be rational here. I'm probably just losing my mind. Fantastic.
Oh well. Hopefully it's just lack of sleep and the exhaustion.
I don't like it either, but it was right to send him.
Members of the Order, I gotta hide.
Once they opened the grave and the boy wasn't in it, I knew this would happen.
But he was so far away. Isn't it possible that the curse hadn't taken control of him?
She sees it differently. Otherwise, she wouldn't have tried to keep him captive.
Psst. She's coming.
I should have guessed. Miss Valley's behind all this. For whatever reason, they've targeted me. And this Miss Valley will stop at nothing. I'm sure of that. Was Angelina in her way? I gotta find out.
What does this mean? Why are we having this meeting?
Is there something new from Reginald?
What about the girl? Is she really here again?
Have you heard anything from Wales?
There's some bad news. Brother Reginald is dead.
What the bloody hell did you just say?
Oh my god.
But this is not the time for mourning. The girl is still snooping around here, and what's worse, he has escaped.
How?
What are we gonna do if he finds out?
Silence. The danger is near. Very near. Both the girl and our American friend could destroy everything we've created over the last few years. I'm afraid we're forced into taking drastic measures.
But we can't.
We've got no other choice.
I better get out of here.
What was that?
Someone there? It's him!
Stop
Darren,
the door!
It's all
the
right.
Door.
We're not
Don't
going
let
to
him
hurt
escape.
you.
So we flee through the bunker and the sewers. Murray kicks us out of the hotel for making it stink like a sewer, and we're on time to our date.
Angelina? Where are you? Angelina! Angelina! Come out here and show yourself! I'd do anything for you! Why didn't you just tell me the truth? Oh no. Angelina.
Oh, Darren, I just want this teenager in his 20s to be happy. What the hell? Darren's then haunted by the ghosts of the past, and then we sort of wake up here. It's the ruins of the old academy, and Ralph's here. And Mr. Bubby, of course.
Did you see the big fire at the lighthouse?
Yeah, I like fire.
You wouldn't have liked this one.
Angelina was here. She came, and then she went, and then she was here again, and then there was someone wearing a white mask.
And then there was fire.
Hold on. You know Angelina?
Yes, she was here a lot.
So, there was Angelina and a man with a mask, and then there was a fire?
Yes. First we hid ourselves because it was thundering, and the bad man wasn't supposed to see us. But then the fire had shone so nice, we just looked.
I like fire.
Yeah, and then?
Then the fire went out. The rain put it out. Then you came. You were calling out loudly, but I didn't know what. Then you fell down and stopped moving. Mr. Bubby said I ought to get you into the dry.
Tell Mr. Bubby thanks from me. That was a good idea.
Mr. Bubby says, my pleasure. We don't often get visitors here.
What happened then?
Then the police arrived. We don't like them. They wanted to take us away to here. Then along came a really nice black car. It looked a lot different from the police cars, or the cars we sometimes see in the village. It looked kind of old, but it was very nice and shiny. But it wasn't there for long.
Did you see who was sitting in it?
No.
You said that Angelina was here quite often. And what did she do here?
She had a very careful look around at everything, and then she found our house. She said she was looking for something. A door that led under the ground.
Honestly, what was up with Angelina? Looking around in the ruins, we find this chess puzzle. We assemble the pieces and place them in their spots, and that opens this passage here. By the way, I love these ruins so much, like I love them. I think the first time I played through this game, I just stood here and looked, you know? In here, we find Angelina's diary.
Tuesday, I found him.
He's called Darren Michaels, or rather, that's the name that they have given him, if I'm right about my suspicions. He's very nice. I don't think he has the faintest idea about the whole thing. I wanted to speak to Mrs. Michaels, but nobody came to the door when I rang the bell. There seems to be a man following me. Even before my departure, I had the feeling of being watched. What does the man want from me? Evening. Mrs. Michaels has had a terrible accident. She's lying in hospital with severe head injuries. I wonder if she had already fallen when I rang the bell. Oh, God, I'm imagining all sorts of horrible things. Wednesday. I've been arrested for the murder of a man whom I barely know. I was led into a trap. A voice told me over the phone that they had information about Darren. When I arrived at the store, I discovered the body and was promptly arrested. I think my pursuer is behind this. Or am I being paranoid? Who can have an interest in finally ending all of this? Afternoon. Darren is so sweet the way he's really gone to town to help me. He's so ready to help. He's a bit of an oddball, but I like him a lot. Doesn't matter if he is who I think he is. I've found a good friend. Or maybe more. Later. Reginald Boris. That's my pursuer's name. There's no doubt anymore. He's here to hinder my search, to stop what I'm doing. Who has sent him? Evening. It's him. I know it now. He brought a little casket with him on our first date. Inside there was a photo of his mother and the servant Bates. They were standing in front of the gate at Black Mirror Castle. I recognized it immediately. He simply has to be a Gordon. His mother had an affair, and after the fire, she went to the USA. But I don't have the guts to tell him. His mom's lying in the hospital, and he has enough to worry about. On the other hand, I've got to find out who my new adversaries are. What might happen if I were to take Darren back to Willow Creek, and in doing so, bring him into danger? I couldn't forgive myself for that. I'll go back on my own and start my own investigations into who our enemies are. I'll tell Darren everything at some point.
I hope that there's another twist and Darren isn't actually a Gordon. It would feel started, I don't know, cheap. Anyways, we also find yet another Angelina letter.
There's no... Darren, I hope this letter finds you.
I can't tell you just how sorry I am that I wasn't honest with you right from the start. I've underestimated the danger from the Order for way too long. I've been playing a little game, and now it looks like I've lost. The Order's agents are creeping through the ruins, and it's only a matter of time until they discover this room. I'm going to hide the pieces, and I'm going to try to break through to get to the village. Perhaps I can at least keep them away from the gate. Should you be reading this letter, then I haven't made it. And so, I ask you to complete my work. You don't believe in the curse, I know that. How could you, though? You were so far away. But I came across some illustrations during my studies, and it's all true. Terrible things happen here every 12 years. And that's been going on for centuries. Maybe it's mass suggestion, or maybe it's some kind of radiation, or maybe it's a curse. Call it what you like, but it has to stop. The key to all evil is hidden beneath the Academy. A chamber which was used centuries ago for some kind of dark rites. There are also the soul keys which Samuel Gordon discovered 12 years ago. Destroy them. Destroy everything. And if it's all just a fantasy in the people's heads around here, take away the reason for them to fear. But guard yourself against the Order. It is an occult sect. They mess about with dead bodies and they want your blood. According to the legend, only a male Gordon can open the cult's chamber, touch the soul keys, and carry out the dark rituals. That is why I was looking for you. I believe that you are the last of the Gordons. You are in the greatest danger, as long as the keys and summoning chamber are not destroyed. Then the Order will hunt you down to the very ends of the earth. Up until now, I haven't managed to penetrate the catacombs. To open the gate, you need to have the mosaic tiles. I have only found one. It's in my rucksack. The other two are hidden somewhere within the castle. You have to return to Black Mirror Castle and look for the mosaic tiles there. The danger is great, since I'm sure that most of the castle's residents are also members of the Order, so don't make yourself known to them. It's the only chance of getting the mosaic pieces, and the only chance, perhaps, to discover who your father is. It's all so awful, Darren. It's as though I've opened Pandora's box. I wanted to do something good, and in doing so have brought you into terrible danger. I hope that everything will come good in the end, and that we too can start afresh together. With love, Angelina.
A curse? All of this because of a curse. The blood of the Gordons. An occult secret society which like to call up the devil in person. It's all so crazy. How can you kill folks in the name of such a fantasy? But Angelina's right. Bizarre as these people's motives might be, they're gonna keep on going as long as they can see a chance of achieving their goal. They've gotta be stopped. And I'm gonna stop them. Angelina's death shouldn't have been completely in vain.
Ooh, let's snoop around the castle! Also, like, what happens if the Gordons die out? The curse is just in the Gordons. If they die out, Mordred is kinda screwed. Anyways, we break the lock on the front gate and enter the castle.
If you're referring to me, I'm not a yobo. I'm a policeman. My name is Falk. I'm investigating a murder that occurred at the lighthouse last night. A witness saw an unusual black car at the crime scene.
The Gordon family does have a classic 30s English automobile in its possession.
Were you up on the cliff with the car this morning?
The ladies haven't driven out anywhere today. And I also don't think that Lewis has taken the car either. Ask him. He looks after the car. Mainly when he should be looking after the garden.
This woman has been murdered. Did you know her?
Are you sure, sir?
Sadly, yes. Her name is Angelina Morgan. You seem to recognize her.
Come with me, sir. We'll have to show this to the ladies.
Fine. What was that in the mirror?
Mr. Falk, their ladyships are ready to receive you.
Oh wow, the old ladies had some work done. They're trying to deny that they knew Angelina, but like, no one's buying it with Bates's reaction and everything. Also, apparently Bates is sick. Okay, he's 126, I'm not surprised.
May I look around the castle? I'd very much like to talk to Louis one more time.
Of course. We have nothing to hide. Stay as long as you like. Only please keep away from the private rooms.
Of course, my lady. Looking closely at the globe thing here, we notice that this stone slab must be hiding a secret compartment. But how do we open it? Let's take a look around first. In the library, there's this garden family tree, and there's a spot after Samuel and Catherine that's been painted over. Yes, I am still holding out hope that Darren's not a Gordon. In the kitchen, we meet Sally, who was hired to help Bates out. But all she tells us of interest is that Louis is in a permanent bad mood, and that she's seen Samuel's ghost behind one of the windows of the Forbidden Wing. At the stables, we see the car Ralph saw at the scene of the crime this morning. Who was driving it then? So many questions. We talk to Louis, and he resents Lady Eleanor for leaving the castle in Wales, and he kinda refuses to work in the Black Mirror garden, spending all his days working on this car here. He also tells us that Richard became obsessed with finding out what drove William and Samuel and etc. insane during his final years, and that Bates chose Sally as his helper because she was the worst candidate and he didn't want to be replaced. Here, we also notice that this raven has one of the pieces of the mosaic, but we need a way to distract it first so that it doesn't attack us with its sharp as a knife beak. Speaking to Eleanor, she tells us this.
What kind of research was Sir Richard doing?
He had very diverse interests. After the tragedy 12 years ago, he was mainly concerned with blood. He was convinced that the Gordons' blood must somehow be different from that of other people. I think he was looking for a scientific explanation for all of the misery that has accompanied the family for hundreds of years.
That explains what Angelina was looking for in Wales. She was hoping that Richard had found out something interesting before he died.
Oh, okay, something has been explained, I guess. We borrow some thread from her, and with it we can tie the spoon to the stairs here and buy us enough time to get the mosaic from the nest. 1 out of 3. Yeah, because I think I might have forgotten to say that we didn't find the piece that Angelina had amongst her stuff in the ruins. And Darren says, I think I know who's got it, but I don't know. Darren might know, but he didn't tell me, and I don't know either. On to the second one. It's close to tea time, so we could ring it and get the ladies out of the entrance hall, since we need to take a closer look at the globe. But Sally won't let us anywhere near the teapot.
What a mess.
Going back to Sally, she tells us this about the locked door in the entrance hall.
Do you know what's behind the locked door in the hall?
I've asked myself that question too, but you can't get a thing out of Bates about it. Once, he got me listening at the door. He gave me such a telling off, like nothing I'd ever known before. He was so mad, he nearly collapsed. He was coughing blood and I had to hold him up. I've been giving the door a wide berth since then.
Then we tell her that the upstairs bathroom is dirty and she runs off to clean it before Bates gets back. Then we try to take the teapot to the library, but...
I don't know if it's him. Don't we have a photograph?
Were they talking about me? But why should Lady Victoria, of all people, cooperate with the Order? She's got more of a reason than anyone else to want to put an end to the curse.
Wait, so the Order is trying to revive Mordred? Wasn't it like the other way around? Oh well, okay. Taking the teapot to the library now, turns out we actually need tea and can't just expect them to drink hot water. So Darren devises this plan.
So, the teapot and service are already in place. Now we just need some tea. It'll be dangerous for me in the village. The Order will definitely be looking for me there. But it'd be a good opportunity to see if Bates is trying to alert the Order. But before I enter the lion's den, I'm gonna take some precautions. It'd be best if I lure the entire Order in the hotel. Then I can walk around the village square in relative peace. Murray? Hello. Darren Michaels here. Oh, I'll be leaving today. I'll be at the hotel in about half an hour. See you in half an hour, Murray. See you soon. Okay, so Murray knows. If I'm not completely mistaken, most of the Order will be waiting for me at the hotel in half an hour. To the village. I thought so. I hardly believed he was shopping at the library. Damn it, Tom's here again. So Bates has got something to do with the Order. I've got to get closer.
Gopher.
But you are generously compensated.
Yeah. You know exactly how much I need this bloody compensation.
I will not tolerate that tone of voice. You know...
All right, man. I'll go and look for her.
Thank you very much.
Interesting.
Yes, Darren, very. We lockpick the pub to get the tea and quickly head back to Black Mirror. Now the coast is clear, but still have no idea what to do about this lab.
Insanity is hereditary. Whoa! There's a cavity behind it.
In this alcove, we find a page from William's diary with some scribbles by Samuel. It's the secret to open the stone slab. Whoa, thanks, Samuel!
The second piece of mosaic.
What are you doing there, sir?
I was just looking at this space here. Unusual, isn't it?
Indeed it is. There was always a stone slab there before.
Perhaps someone removed it.
I will ask Sally about that.
Now I guess we gotta get into Bates's room. We stop by there to talk to him a bit.
I've noticed a huge locked door on the ground floor.
I'd keep away from that, sir. There was fire in the rooms through there some years ago. The damage was never properly repaired. The walls have been ruined by rainwater, and the beams have been rotting for 20 years or more. I think you'd risk your life going into that wing of the house.
That must have been quite some fire to destroy the wing like that.
It was a dreadful tragedy. Master Samuel and his enchanting wife Catherine were just married. and had only recently moved into the castle. They had not even been here for 6 months.
Did anyone know how the fire started?
No.
What kind of a man was he, this Samuel Gordon?
His father sent him off to boarding school early, since he was a very obstinate, wild child. His behavior improved at the school. The teachers described him as an alert, intelligent, and friendly boy, and in the holidays we found him so too. He got to know Miss Catherine after being at school. A wonderful, good-hearted woman. They were married and seemed to have found a perfect happiness.
What do you mean, seemed?
Well, there were some arguments when they lived here.
Was he violent?
To her, I don't really know, but I fear he may have been. Miss Catherine was unhappy, and if there hadn't been some wonderful times every now and again, then she perhaps would have left him. It could have been noticeable to us at that time. The two faces of Samuel Gordon. On the one hand, the loving, caring husband, and on the other, the arrogant and brutish egomaniac. After his wife's death, this nasty side of him seemed to disappear. He never visited us. However, common acquaintances described him as a profoundly sad and broken man.
That is, until he returned and slaughtered some innocent people.
It's terrible. We all wonder ourselves. Perhaps we didn't want to believe that this evil side of his soul had returned.
Well, very interesting. Let's get to work, old man.
The bathtub is full to the brim and starting to overflow. If no one does something about it soon, there'll be water damage. Mr. Bates, the bathroom's underwater.
Sorry?
But I really don't know how that could have happened.
I've had enough of your excuses. You've missed something there.
But I have never left the flannel in the bathtub.
In Bates's room, we find a photo and Darren's once again like, "My mom doesn't look pregnant at all." Some transfers that show that Bates was the one sending your mom money, but on whose behalf? And a little jewelry box with a memo for the combination. So we go around gathering the information we need, and in the jewelry box...
That's it! A big key. There's only one door here whose key you'd hide in a casket. And a small golden medallion, or at least half a small golden medallion. It must have been one you could open originally. There's small hinges on it. Inside is a photo of me. Me as a little boy, 3 or 4. I'm certain it looks just like the pictures of me as a child in Boston. Was I adopted? There's something engraved on the back of it. Adrian. Is that my name? And if it is, why was it changed when I was adopted? To make it more difficult for the Order to find me? Time for a few answers.
In the only accessible room in the old wing, there's this beautiful giant mirror here that must be hell on earth to clean. Solving this Sudoku-like puzzle, we unlock another puzzle. This one is also pretty cool. You can press these buttons to make the walls go down for a while and make the ball reach the center. Behind the mirror, there's this strangely well-preserved room. Well, there's a music box and the third piece of mosaic.
This melody.
Oh! Oh! Ah!
Adrian, wake up. Your father had changed a lot. It poisoned him.
It brought out his dark side, made him go mad. It burnt me.
Mom?
I was pregnant. Twins. The doctor said it was a miracle that I gave birth to 2 healthy children, despite my burns. Despite all the suffering. A miracle. I took my parents-in-law's offer, and after more than a year in various hospitals, we moved here.
And Samuel?
Your father didn't know that I was still alive, and he didn't know anything about you two. I started to hate him. He ruined my life. And his parents' life. When he turned up here, after his grandfather's death, I hid myself here in my rooms, and I waited for him to disappear again. Angelina was at boarding school, far away, safe. Friends had told Victoria that Samuel was a broken man after the fire, and didn't seem so nasty anymore. But I was still afraid of him. When the first murders happened, I sensed that Samuel's dark side had returned. However, Bates reassured me. He said that Samuel gave the impression of being quite balanced. And after all, the first incident, William's death, happened before he'd arrived. They didn't believe me when I told them how quickly and completely the curse would take control of him. Bates and Victoria blame themselves for that to this very day.
Did Angelina grow up in the castle?
No, not really. She went to various boarding schools and was only here during the holidays. A dreary castle and a disfigured... like me. Not the right environment for a child. I think she was always happy when the holidays were over.
What happened then? Why did she look for me?
2 years ago, she came to visit the castle for a few weeks. She skulked around the place, read books. I didn't think she was in danger. All the other women of the family were left untouched by the curse, you see. But somehow it struck her. It made her think that she was destined for something bigger. Whispered to power and fame. Tempting for a child who perhaps never got the attention she needed. Once we worked out that she was absorbed in things that should never have seen the light of day, we took her away from here. We reinitiated the order and hired someone to track her down after she escaped.
Reginald Boris.
Right. Once he tracked her down to Bideford, sheer horror broke out within the order. What would she want from you? Your blood? We gave orders to do whatever was needed to keep Angelina away from you.
Did the Order imprison me in the bunker? And kidnap me and take me to Wales?
No. We first found out from Miss Valley that you were here. We decided to get you away from here and tell you the plain truth. But it was like you suddenly disappeared from the face of the earth. We feared that Angelina had got to you.
It wasn't Angelina. Or at least not her alone. There was a man with a mask in the jail.
That wasn't one of us. Well, at least I hope it wasn't. The Order searched the whole area and we finally found you in our own assembly room of all places. We drugged you and we took you to Wales, to Eleanor's old castle. Miss Valley was already on the way to explain everything to you, but when she arrived, you were gone.
Who killed Angelina?
We don't know. Victoria thinks that Angelina might have done something to herself in her madness.
Pouring gas all over herself and setting herself on fire? Nonsense.
I know. Perhaps we have another adversary that we know nothing about.
Or could it have been me?
Impossible. We followed you through the sewer system. You didn't have time to drive to the cliffs and kill her.
Then it was the great unknown?
I doubt that we don't know him. It must be someone who knows about all the incidents in the castle and knows about the Order. One of us.
Who?
If I knew, then he would already be regretting what he has done. Angelina was a good child. She had recovered, just like you had. We should have just taken her away from here forever.
What was it that drove my father and great-grandfather mad?
The castle. It's the castle.
What do you mean, the castle?
Well, you were a happy child. Both of you were. You enchanted the nurses and were my guiding light in a dark night. But your behavior changed here in the castle, Adrian. We'd have just been living here for a few years when you nearly killed your sister. You became aggressive, volatile. One day you pushed Angelina down the big staircase into the hall. It was a miracle that she only broke her arm. She could have been dead. Mrs. Michaels, the cook, who tried to pull me out of the flames and paid with her own health, took you on. You can't imagine how happy I was when I heard that your behavior became normal again in America.
You mean this castle made me sick? Made me go mad?
The people here believe that there is a curse on the golden males. Perhaps the curse means that they drive themselves to disaster as long as they live here.
Who are the members of the Order?
Victoria, Bates, Eleanor, and myself are committed to the Order. But the others do the real work. The young Miss Valley, for example, she's the leader.
And what happens to me now?
You have to get away from here. As far as you possibly can. We don't know who killed Angelina. They could also be after you.
You mean after my blood?
That's why we have to get you out of here and organize a new identity for you. And secondly, you have to leave here under your own will. This castle, this whole area isn't good for you. I'm afraid that you would change again if you stayed any longer. You'll hallucinate and maybe one day do things you don't want to.
You mean I'll see things that aren't there at all?
I don't know. I only know that it made your father capable of butchering a 12-year-old boy.
All right then. I'll go. Mom? Will we see each other again?
Talk to Bates. He'll arrange plane tickets for you. You fly to Florida. We'll see each other again in a few weeks. It's all too much. I know. But one day you'll understand. We'll talk about it, and I'll explain it all as well as I can. Goodbye, son.
So, you know now, Master Adrian.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. Ask Lewis for the tickets. Sally should instruct him to collect the tickets from a travel agency in the next town.
Thank you, Bates.
This man is not nearly as phased about being into his twin sister as I thought he'd be. Well, we talked to Louis, but he says that Sally hasn't told him anything. And Adrian? Our dear protagonist says this.
What's going on? Is he lying? Or Sally? Or is it Bates? Are one of those three the murderer? Only one of them has left the ground since I got here.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why he's so on edge about this. I guess the whole thing that we don't know who killed Angelina really got to him. But anyways, we go looking for Sally and...
My God, Sally! She's dead.
Oh no, I guess. We fill the bathroom with steam and it shows that Sally has written a B on the tiles. Thing.
A B. Like Bates. That must mean that Bates isn't the murderer. I mean, how could Sally have written a B on the tiles? And when? As her head was being held underwater and she was frantically fighting for her life? Or after the shock caused her untimely death? I'm not gonna make it that easy for you. You're gonna have to be a bit more creative to throw me off the scent.
I love how smart this game is. I feel like I almost never go, oh my god, okay, video game logic, you know? And I love Darren so much. Anyways, moving on.
Oh no, the castle is burning.
Oh god, okay. We get a wet towel and run through the flames.
Bates! Can you hear me?
Adrian, my boy, it's all over. The castle.
Don't worry, I'll get you out of here.
No. I've spent my whole life in this castle, and I want to die here.
But you...
Listen, boy. This castle drove your father and his father before him to disaster. Don't let it corrupt you too. Defend yourself against it.
How should I defend myself against it?
Get away from here and don't ever come back. You have a life in New England waiting for you. A good life, even if you don't see it like that. Run, Darren Michaels. Run and don't ever look back.
Okay, I'll go, but not before I found Angelina's murderer.
Ah, there you are. I was starting to worry I'd started the fire too soon.
What? It was you? You killed Angelina and the others? You set fire to the castle and imprisoned me?
I started the fire, yes. And I locked you in the bunker. But I'm no murderer. So don't force me to be one.
What is all this? What do you want?
This is no time for long explanations. The car's waiting. We're going on a little trip.
All right then, Lewis. What have you got to do with the Gordons? Why are you chasing this illusion?
I'm not interested in the curse.
He's only after the money.
That's impossible!
Hello, dear brother. So, you still haven't worked it out?
What? What are you doing?
I'm fulfilling my destiny. I will evoke Mordred's power and use it for my own purposes.
And Boris? And Sally? And my adoptive mother?
She guessed who I was when I was standing at her door. She wanted to warn the Order. I couldn't allow that. She banged her head on the side table. I thought she was dead.
What's this all about? What do you want from me?
I cannot enter the Academy nor the Summoning Chamber without the blood of a male Gordon. You just can't imagine my disappointment when I had to acknowledge that Richard's blood wouldn't do. And my delight when I found you.
And the whole time you never knew about me?
No. Our mother and the others kept the secret very well hidden. But then I found some writings which told me everything. I came to Bideford to wrap you around my little finger, and it worked well. I knew that we were bonded by something, and that you'd do anything for me.
What was all that with Reginald Boris?
The Order put him on my back, as I found out shortly after your mother's accident. Boris wanted to sideline me by putting me in the frame for Fuller's murder. My plan was to take you back with me to England, but as long as Boris was around, I was worried that he'd tell you all about me. So I flew back to England and called you up. And, just as I expected, you turned up here like a shining hero to rescue me.
And your death? Who had to die for you?
The good Miss Valley built the Order back up again, after there had been no sign of it for almost 100 years. I had to protect myself from her.
So you murdered her in cold blood and set her on fire.
And killed two birds with one stone. No pun intended. The Order lost its leader, and everyone thought I was dead to boot. All I had to do was forge my diary entries and lure you into the castle.
Wasn't that a big risk? Sending me into the castle?
Of course. But what choice did I have? I couldn't go myself, and Lewis had proven himself to be incapable. If anyone could find the mosaic tiles, it was you. I guessed that you'd found out about our secret. But we always had a plan B for that eventuality.
Set fire to the castle and kill everyone in it?
How'd you arrive at that?
Mom?
Now, get in there. Stand there, Mother.
Dude, what in the scallop? Everything is happening so fast. What? Well, I guess we just have to play along for now. We line the mosaics up here and have to cut our hand open to open this door. And now we have to find a solution here. The gate will only open if there are 8 people standing on these slabs, but we're only 4 here. We find this piece of paper that seems to indicate that slab 2 and 6 control the doors here. So we ask Mom to stand on number 2 and check this room out. On each of the trees there are some riddles, and by solving them we can solve this mechanism and open these stone compartments. we get these staffs, but the fall one is missing. Look, okay, I guess. Going off the piece of paper, we place the staffs we have in front of the corresponding slabs and head over to the room on the right. Then we do something. Honestly, I had no idea what to do and followed the walkthrough here. But now we just gotta convince Angelina and Louis to stand on the wrong slabs.
Listen, there's really no other way. We'll have to stand on the remaining slabs if the gate's gonna open.
All right then. But if there's any messing around...
Got it. I think I've disarmed all the traps. Mom, you stay there. Louis stands over there.
I think we should swap places. You got nothing against that, have you?
Do what you want. Oops.
Go on.
That's unbelievable.
Finally. Go on, lead the way. Yes, Master.
What? Was that Mordred?
Run! Ah!
Oh, let's get out of here.
We try to run, but the Order tries to kill us, so we go back in the 7-inch chamber.
Is she here?
No.
Come, let's get you out of here.
No. Don't you understand, Adrian? It's not about me. It's not only about you either. Your father caused a lot of suffering, and I don't want you to become guilty too.
I don't intend to.
That's not your decision. These are powers that are greater than a single person.
Exactly. It's about infinite power. Divine power. Power that has been sleeping for too long. To the altar!
Screw you.
I don't like to repeat myself. Go to the altar and read from the book.
I don't like to repeat myself either. Screw you.
The next bullet is going through your kneecap.
You won't get any further without me. You can't kill me. You need me.
But I don't need her. And what can you do without an eye, a hand?
There is no curse. It's a mental illness. It's passed down from generation to generation and causes delusions.
Delusions? And what do you call this? Read.
Soda Cal, Usadir, Caraxo Zodere, Motarebi, Vaxto Sabra Ve, Malior Vaxto Sabra Malior im Ibute, Amenia Vibusadir, Amena Voxatakar.
Yes! Yes! And now?
Angelina, it's lunacy! Even if there was a curse, then it'd only affect the male Gordons.
No. No! Me too. I can hear them. The voices. They whisper to me. Always since you went.
Angelina, please!
I'm sorry, dear brother. I need your blood and no other.
Darren, are you for real? Well, the protagonist of Black Mirror 3 is still Darren, so see you next time for the story conclusion. In the beginning of the video, I said that this is my favorite game of the series. The voice acting performances are much better than the ones in the previous game. All the characters have so much personality. I love Darren as a protagonist. Everything is so beautiful, the puzzles are really cool and often play on point-and-click adventure tropes to subvert expectations, like in the Sally writing B on the tile just for Darren to call the bluff. They also fixed the old game jank in this one, plus there's not a whole lot of video game logic to be seen here. Aside from a few like, how do you fit all of that in your pockets, you know? And by the way, the third game only falls behind, in my personal taste, because I'm not the biggest fan of the Darren is a Gordon twist, and the third game expands on that. Like, I really wish that he was just a guy. Like, spoilers for The Matrix, like the third movie. So skip like 20 seconds if you don't wanna hear it. But like when in the third movie the Oracle tells Neo that he's actually not the one, I wanted that to happen to Darren, but he's still the hero and he still like saved the day and stuff. But yeah, no. Well, I guess I've said my piece. If you like this, take the opportunity to play through Black Mirror 3 for yourself if you can. If not, my video spoon-feeding you the story will be coming out in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, blah 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 blah, and I'll make more videos if an anvil doesn't fall on my head. Bye! My heart just can't be faithful to you. I swear I'll only make you cry. Okay, great.